Hi class! Maligayang araw! I am your teacher for today, Miss Anavella and Rosales, who is taking the Bachelor of Secondary major in Mathematics. Now, I am your teacher in Mathematics 8. So, our topic for today is about the geometric inequality. What is geometric inequality? So, geometric inequality is an inequality involving the various measures like angles, length, areas, etc. in a geometric. Now, under these geometric inequalities, there are two. So, properties of inequality, inequalities of real number, segment, and angles. Now, before we start, we have an objective that we will base off our discussion. First, we state the properties of inequality. Next, explain the trichotomy property of a real number. Next, define the greater than and less than for angles and segment. And lastly, apply the properties of inequality including the geometric statement. So, before we start, we need to determine what are the inequality symbols. First, this symbol. This symbol symbolized by the greater than. Example, x plus 3 is greater than by 2. Next is this symbol. This symbol is symbolized by less than. Example, 7x is less than by 28. Next, this. These symbols are symbolized by greater than or equal to. Example, 5 is greater than equal to by x plus minus 1. Next is this symbol. This will be our last symbol. Less than or equal to. The example of this is 2y plus 1 is less than equal to 7. Now, we will proceed properties of inequalities. So, in mathematics, the inequalities compare numbers and expressions that are not equal to one another. Generally, the following symbol I will show to you: the greater than, less than, the greater than or equal to, the less than or equal to. Each these symbols compare the relative size of two numbers to show which number is bigger and which is the numbers is smallest. And also, inequalities are important because they are commonly to everyday life experience. Now, we will proceed to the first properties of inequality, the transitive property of inequality. So, it is stated that for any real number a, b, and c, if a is equal to b and b is equal to c, then a is equal to c. We will use the math fund. Transitive property, when we link on the inequalities in order, we can jump over the middle of inequality. So, if statement, if a is less than by b, less than by c, then a is less than by c. So, we notice that if a is less than by b and b is less than by c, then a is less than by c. We would likewise see if a is greater than b and b is greater than c, then a is greater than c. So, example of it in a real life, if Alex is older than Billy and Billy is older than Carol, so then Alex is much older than Carol also. Now, we have another example using the angle. So, the transitive property of this angle is the measurement of angle 4 is less than the measurement of angle 5, and the measure of angle 5 is less than the measure of angle 6. Then, the measure of angle 4 is less than the measure of angle 6. Do you understand now? The segment of AC is greater than DE, and DE is greater than HI, then AC is greater than HI. Is clear now for you the transitive property of inequality? Now, we will proceed to our second property of inequality, which is the addition property of inequality. Addition property inequality, it states that if the same amount is added to the both sides of equation, then equality will still true. So addition, adding in a both side of inequality must be shift everything along, and then the inequality stay the same. So based on this picture, if A is less than by B, then A plus C is less than by B plus C. Do you understand that? Now, 3 pesos more, then Alex will still have a less money than Billy. So likewise again, if A is greater than B, then A plus C is greater than B plus C. Do you understand that? So adding the same value to the both sides, A plus and B will not change the inequality. Do you get? So now let's observe the example of this addition property, like if 1 is less than by 4, then 1 plus 6 is less than by 4 plus 6. Do you notice that we add 6 in the both sides, right? So, okay, we will done it with the addition properties of inequality. Next is the multiplication property of inequality. It is stated that if we multiply one side of one equation, we also multiply the two other side of an equation by the same number to keep the equation the same. So it means that when we use math fun, so when we multiply both A and B by positive number, the inequality stays the same. But when we multiply both A and B by negative number, the inequality swap over. So notice this picture that A is less than by B becomes B is less than by A after multiplying in a negative 2. Now, but the inequality stays the same when we multiply both sides by positive 3. So here's the rule. If A is less than by B and C is positive, then AC is less than BC. Next is if A is less than by B and C is a negative, then AC is a greater than by BC. So we will notice that the inequality will swap over. So as a positive example, I have an example in a reality. So Alex's score of 3 is lower than Billy's score of 7. So A is less than by B. If both Alex and Billy manage to double their scores by times 2, Alex's score will still be lower than Billy's score. 2A is less than 2B. So, but when we multiply by a negative, the opposite will happen. But if the score becomes minus, then Alex lose 3 points, but Billy lost 7 points. So Alex has now better than Billy. Negative A is greater than the negative B. Another example in the multiplication properties of inequality in an angle. So 1/2 times measure of angle ABC is greater than 1/2 times measure of angle DEF. So understand that we will multiply both sides by 1/2. So 1/2 is positive. So another example for multiplication property inequality, suppose by 2 is less than by 5, then 2 times 10 is less than by 5 times 10. Notice that we times in positive 10 and 10 is greater than 0. We will try out something. So given that segment BE is greater than to segment AE and segment AC is less than to segment EB, prove that segment BA is not equal to segment AC. Now, DE is greater than to AE. This is our illustration. So we will prove this. We have a statement and our result by proving. So statement 1, DE is greater than to AE, and AC is greater than to AB. This is our given. Next, statement 2, DE plus BE is greater than to AC plus EC. So we will use our reason of this. We will use the additional property of inequality. Statement number 3, BD is equal to DE plus EB. Next is AC plus AE is equal to EC. So that between this result. So statement 4 is BA is greater than AC. So the reason of this one is substitution principle. So our need to prove that statement 5, BD is not equal to AC. So reason, trigonometry property of inequality. So that's all. Thank you for listening. I hope you understand something about me.